Hello, I'm Brian with BCTI, and I'd like to show you a feature in Power BI called dynamic number formatting. Now, this is a feature that I went for years using Power BI that I never knew this existed because it's not exactly a feature that advertises itself. And unless somebody shows it to you, you're likely to have never even thought of it, much less used it. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Here's a price sheet of parts and their costs in various territories and countries. And notice when I'm looking at North America, everything is in a US dollar style. In fact, no matter where I go, everything is presented in a US dollar style. What I'd like to see is everybody's prices reflected in their particular currency style. So whether I go to East Asia or South Africa or North America, Northern Europe, I want to see everything in their currency style. But all this has to come from one formula. So I'll show you how to have different number styles based on the country. I'll also show you how to use dynamic number formatting when calculating various KPIs, but using the same single function to do all the work. So whether you're calculating years or percentages or head count, I want to see different styles. And if I were to go through and start interacting with these, I want my KPIs to reflect the different styles when the user picks their particular category. So let's dive in and see how this trickery is done. Be sure to download this starter file plus the solution file and the full step-by-step documentation that's available to you, link in the video description. Here's a quick overview of our data model. I have two very simple tables. One is a list of parts and their prices, and the second is a currency table. Now, don't use this currency table for real production because these exchange rates reflect what the rates are as of today, so don't use this in the real world without doing some serious updating. But what we have here is we have the country's name, we have its region it's located in, here's the exchange rate to do the calculations, and then finally here's the format that we're going to be using when we stylize the various results. So I have their symbols over here, but this is really what we're going to be using are these formatting codes to make this really dynamic. So if we look at the model view, we can see those two tables, and they're not connected with a relationship. And in this case, you don't want that. You don't want a relationship. The measures will coordinate the conversation between these two tables. So if we go back to our report view, I have a slicer, and this is what the user is going to use to pick their particular region. But notice my table is failing because I don't have the measure built for it. Now, when I create measures, I like to place my measures in a dedicated measures table. And if you don't know how to make one of those, I'm going to do it real quickly here, but I have a very step-by-step, easy-to-follow tutorial on the channel, and I'll put a link in the comments, or you can click the thing up there in the corner if it pops up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to Enter Data, and for the name of this table, I like to call it underscore measures. And I use the underscore because I like to put that measure at the very top of the table's list. So that creates this little measures table here with a fake measure in it. So I'm going to go to measures and right click, and we're going to add a measure. The measure that we're going to create will be called country cost. And I'm going to call this country cost fixed because in this first pass, we're going to demonstrate the problem. And so this will be equal to, and let's drop down a row. I'm going to create a variable called exchange rate. And exchange rate is going to be equal to, and what we want to do is we want to take the country that is in the current column. And so to do that, we're going to use a selected value function. Now, think of selected value as kind of like an if statement that just says, if the country has one country selected, that's what I'm going to use. So whatever country you pick, that's what I'm going to use to go find a corresponding item in another table. And so in this case, what are you trying to return for that one single discovered country? Well, in this case, I want to bring back the exchange rate. Now, like an if statement, if it doesn't find it, is there some default action you want to perform? Well, if I don't find that item in the table, then I just want to multiply everything by 1. In other words, don't change the math at all. So we'll go ahead and do a close parentheses on that. Now, for the return, I want to take the sum of the cost, so the part's cost, and I'm going to multiply it by that exchange rate that I just created. So we'll go ahead and give that a check. Oh, I just realized I put my parentheses in the wrong place, so let's fix that. And now let's go ahead and add that to the values part of this table. Now let's dress this up just a little bit. So we'll go down here to layout, and then for the column widths, we'll go ahead and do some custom column widths, and I'm going to set that to 135 pixels just to standardize it, make it look a little bit better. But notice as we look through this, everybody is using the exact same style, because if I go to that country cost fixed measure and I look up here, it's set to a currency style with auto decimal places. Well, if I set that to 2, well, I'll standardize it. Everybody's 2 decimal places. But when you go looking through the world, first off, not everybody is going to use the dollar, and everybody doesn't go to 2 decimal place precision. Some do 3, some do 1, some do none. So this is really very rigidly locked in on how the numbers are being presented. So let's see if we can make this a little bit better. On the dynamic sheet, I'm going to go up here and create another measure, but this one's going to be the smarter measure. Now, once I've created a measure in my measures table, I can actually throw away this sort of fake measure that was created. And so when I delete that from the model, don't need that. It also gives me a nice little calculator icon next to the word measures, so I like that touch. So we're going to go back here, we're going to right click, we're going to create a new measure. And this time the measure is going to be called country cost and dynamic. Now, this is actually going to be the exact same measure, but I'll go through it really quickly. So we'll create a variable and we'll call that exchange rate, and that's going to be equal to the selected value, if I can spell that correctly, selected value, and we're looking for the selected value for the exchange rate. And then if we don't find it, we will default to a 1. Return. And then what are we going to return? We're going to return the sum of the US cost times the exchange rate. It's the exact same formula. In fact, if I were to add that to this table, here's the dynamic version, and let's go in here and also set the layout to 135 for column consistency, and we'll also set the decimal place precision to 2. But everything is still the same because you're just using that sort of generic number styling that's built up there in the ribbon. Now, when you're working with an implicit calculation, like let's say the sum of the exchange rates, and you want to style that, up in the column tools section, you've got the formatting controls here, and you could choose from things like currency or decimal or scientific or percentage styling. But that's very limited. What if you want to create your own style, just like you get to do in Excel? Well, when you go to a measure and then you hit that same drop down, you get an extra choice, and that's called dynamic. And this is where you can use the same type of number styling codes that you use in Excel, if you're familiar with those. Those can also be used here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose dynamic. And if you're already in a style, it will show you the styling codes for that style. So here are the styling codes for the currency style. If I were to, let's say I were to change that back to general. So here I am at the general style, and if I choose, say, percentage, if I then go back up here and choose dynamic, I can see the styling codes for the percent style. Just one more. I'll go back to, let's go over to scientific notation. How about that one? So if you want to stylize something in scientific notation, but then you go back to dynamic, and here's the styling codes for scientific notation. Now, I want to create my own styling codes, so I'm going to erase all of that. And we want to pull the styling codes from that table. Now, real quick, let's just jump back over here to the table view. And if we go to the currency table, I want to pull this column of codes. So for whatever country I'm in, when I'm in the matrix, whatever country I'm in, I want to look up and find that country, jump over here, find that country in the locations column, but then bring back this styling code and have that be the style applied to the number. So let's go back to our report view, and I'll go to my country cost dynamic formula, and here I am in the dynamic view. Now here is a little thing that will drive you bananas if somebody doesn't point it out to you. Once you've created the code, now I haven't created the code, but I did start that process. Let me go back to general for a second. So here you are at just the no style, and then you come up here and you say, hey, I want to use dynamic. And then it automatically puts you where you need to be to define those codes. Well, let's say that you get out of this for some reason. You click away, and you're like, oh, I want to go back. So I go back to my country cost dynamic, and there's my formula, but how do I get back to the dynamic codes? Because I choose dynamic, and nothing changes. Here in the upper left corner, notice right next to the check and the X, it says measure. Whenever you are working with just a normal measure and you've not done any special styling, that button is not there. But if you go to a measure that is using dynamic formatting, all of a sudden this measures drop down appears. And if you click that, it lets you switch between showing in the formula bar the measure that's doing the calculation versus the formatting codes that are being given to that measure. So in our case, the general style had no style, so it's just two double quotes. So we're going to erase that, and we're going to use our ever wonderful selected value function. And selected value says, look in the selected column, find that country, but then I want to bring back the format codes from the format column. So I'll go ahead and pick that. Now, because selected value acts kind of like an if, it says, if I don't find those, what would you like me to do instead? Well, if you don't find those, then we'll just go ahead and default to the traditional pound, comma, pound, pound, 0.00 styling of the US dollar style. So we'll close parentheses. I'll give that a check. And now you see down here in my matrix, all of these different countries are using their specific country styling codes. And if I were to switch over here to East Asia, there's the East Asian styling codes. If I were to go to North Africa, there's the North African styling codes, or Southern Europe, and here are all of their styling codes. So now everything can be specific to that particular country. Now, if currency exchange rates are not your cup of tea, let me show you another example. So here I've created some calculations, some KPIs that show revenue, the average tenure, the average turnover rate, and the number of employees per department. Now, all of these are separate measures. You can see those over there on the right side of the screen. But the actual matrix visual only has one thing in it. So this is a cool little way of rolling up a bunch of calculations into a single object, and then you can just drop that object in as sort of like a group. So if I were to click on the matrix, and notice here, the only thing I have in the values field well is KPI value. And if I click on KPI value is going out and getting the total revenue, employee count, the turnover rate, and the average tenure measures. So this is a really cool trick. Now, I'm not going to go through the mechanics of this. You're welcome to download this file and reverse engineer all of this. But I want to stay focused on the topic, which is the dynamic number formatting. But make sure you check this out because it's really cool. So if I were to go to KPI value and in the upper left, change this from measure to format, we can see here that I'm using the selected value function to look at the KPI. So is it revenue? Is it tenure? Is it employees? So that's going to do a lookup and then come back with a specific format. So in this case, if it's revenue, I want to use this sort of currency style format. But if it's employees, I want to use a whole number format. If it's an average turnover rate, I want to use a percentage format with 1 decimal place precision. And if it's tenure, I want to see a 1 decimal place format with the word years stuck on the end of it. And just to kind of make it complete, if you don't find any of these things, then just go ahead and give me this generic like 1,000 separator whole number style. No, not whole number, 1,000 separator style. So that is the format for that particular trick. I'll go ahead and accept that. And then we can see this in our matrix. And then if I were to go over here in my slicer and I were to focus on revenue, I have a KPI that pops up that says revenue, and here's the total revenue of 9 million. The average tenure across all of these departments was 6.4 years. The average turnover rate for all 5 departments, 10.6%. And then the total number of employees, 160. Now, if they pick more than one in the slicer, I don't get the KPI. And if they pick everything, then they don't get the KPI. But if they pick one, then I'll give them this additional calculation. Now, incidentally, these card visuals cannot be turned on and off based on the fact that you've selected one item from the slicer. And so if you have more than one selected, there's nothing that's going to hide this. This is another bit of little trickery. And you can download this file and check out the settings on how I did this. But essentially what I've done is I have just created a white square that sits on top of that card visual. So if the user goes over here and picks one item from the slicer, it actually sets the color to transparent. And if they pick more than one, or if they had everything selected, then it sets the color to white. So that way it effectively hides the KPI, but if one item from the slicer is selected, it shows the KPI. Just an interesting little party trick. So that is how we can write one measure, but then get from that a variety of different ways to present the results using dynamic number formatting. So let me know what you think about this feature. Had you seen it before? Is it brand new to you? If you've used it, what kind of interesting creative things have you done with it? Because I'd love to know, so put that down in the comments. So be sure to download the starter file, the solution file, and the full step-by-step documentation on how to reproduce all of this. Thank you for watching, and remember, at BCTI, the learning never stops.